Okay, so we're starting with a few rehosts to get things going, of course. Wouldn't feel like EU4 MP without a few rehosts at the start. I have missed the last two sessions, and it appears... we have Westphalia, which is a new thing. Poland didn't grow that much, to be honest. Ottomans, neither. Not seeing too many drastic changes over the war, to be honest. Looks like we're missing one overlay. And there's Hosso, who started following during the Rico simulator, so that's nice. Jujian actually expanded quite a bit into Japan. Ochi is his vassal. But first I should probably take a look-see at all the player wars. Yeah, we have some kind of Florence. Oh my god, so I remember seeing that Aragon was occupied in southern Italy, but it looks like the French, Castilians, Aragons and English are coming from the north to actually relieve those sieges, and this is a huge army actually. I was thinking that the whole thing is done deal because I didn't really look at the safe much, but it looks like quite a powerful push from the Westerners. There's Ottomans on the Florent Italian side, and that's basically it. Scotland is still a vassal of England. I wonder for how long. For quite a bit, looks like, because they're not really annexing them. So let's take a look. See, that's farmlands. These two forts are protecting. Yeah, but Ferrara is going to be easily captured because that's just farmlands. Not really. Is it like a river between Ferrara and? Yeah, so there is a river crossing, but that's it, and they can go through Modena as well, most likely. Yeah, it's a vassal of Florence as well. So it looks like Florence and the Ottomans will want to fight on Florence proper and Perugian, which are both hill forts. No forts on the gateway to Italy, which is Prussia, which is kind of weird, to be honest. Seems like a perfect placed fort, and it was held by Florence for a while, I assume. Yeah, it's been like 30 years. Seems weird to go into this war without having a good fort, though, to be fair, looks like they don't really need forts in the south, and by that point they're basically fully occupied, so it doesn't matter that much. But let's take a quick look at the numbers. I mean, just on paper they are fairly even, but I assume not the entire Ottoman army is on the front. Maybe not, though. Looks like more or less the entire Ottoman army, and even more coming. So that's what? 120, 50, 170, 80? Close to 200,000, I think. Versus... Sometimes the AI troops are messing up my view, because this is actually a French stack with just a few Savoy troops on top, and Savoy is just not part of this war. It seems really weird that, yeah, if Florence controlled the mountain forts in here, it would be... Oh, France actually controls this one. This is huge. Yeah, it would be difficult to actually get... This fort doesn't really help because you can just walk through the coast. Yeah, so that's 100,000. Seems to me that the Westerners have a bit of an advantage on the current front. Burgundy is allied to both England and France, but it's not allied to Aragon, I assume, so they're not part of this war. Let's do a quick look-see around the rest of the world, what the people are doing. We have Ethiopia, allied to rest of the southern Africa. I think they're doing okay for their size. Looks like they're a bit behind on ideas, but it is okay with tech. Norway has already, colonial nation in North America. Actually, two. Pretty good. Lithuania and Muscovy, is it? Yeah, Muscovy is not being played, and there was apparently a huge war between Muscovy and Lithuania, Danzig, and Poland, which are all player nations. Yep. I'll be checking every now and then if there's anything happening on the front. Not much. How's the economy of everyone looking? Oh, Florence is doing mighty fine. They can have so many loans, god. Aragon is not doing that hot, but they're okay. 7 loans for France, they're doing fine. And no loans for Ottomans, as you probably might expect. Ottomans are, by far the biggest nation in the world. They're probably not even... They are going over their force limit. Oh my god, France is going heavily over force limit. Aragon, somewhat. To how much they have much lower overall force limit. Only England is sending just 25k. Which is not that many, but I assume it's the English Navy that's giving the superiority of the seas. Not really worth much. No, I guess they beat the Ottoman Navy, so... Well, that's good, I guess, but that also means that by that point all the Ottoman troops were shipped to Italy, so it's not really that meaningful. And Florence could hand over occupations of a few provinces to allow Ottomans to recruit a few more troops. Not that I think they necessarily want to, unless they get some stack wipes. Oh, they are going for a naval battle. And currently it's showing the... Oh, there's no British ships, English ships. Yeah, so it looks like Aragon is gonna lose this one. They have a bit worse admiral and way lower morale. So where's the... Oh, the Ottomans are going for French on just flatlands. Both states are getting bonus from their age objective, so that's even. 3-6 and 3-2. The French general is not strong at all. Is it the best that the Westerners have to offer? Looks like it, to be honest. At 2-4, which... Oh yeah, now it is 5-3, which is almost as good as the Ottoman one. So yeah, both sides are pouring forces, but yeah, they're going to fight this one on just flat terrain. They're not really abusing their defensive advantage. Actually, it's the French who get the small... It's the... you get the tiny defensive advantage when you're just defending even without any bonuses. So I don't think it was a good idea to give up this advantage just to push like this. I mean, the numbers of reinforcements look fairly even, but currently it's it depends on the roll. Morale is going both ways, but currently there's more Westerners. Yeah, the last reinforcements for Italy has gone in, and there's still 50k coming. There's 10k cannons coming. They won't do that much. They're just gonna get massacred on the front line. See, but it's still very close. Oh, with rules like these, Ottomans can still very easily win, but okay, that's... Oh, it's very close for both sides. The line is breaking for the Western Coalition and they're going home. It was very, very close though. It was a risky fight on the open terrain, but in the end worked out for the Ottomans. They will be able to retake, and they're probably going to go for this fort the most, but to be honest, what does it even achieve? Because the French, I think, can just access this fort as well if they go through Milan. I mean, they should... Yeah, they should be able to get access from Milan, maybe not Switzerland. And no, actually they can get access from Switzerland as well. So they could just attack Cremona from the north. They don't really have to fight on the hill fort, and then they can cut off by going into Lucca. So this is not really meaningful, other than they actually win a battle, which is by itself, I guess, important, but it's not really deciding the war. Although, now that I look at it, this might have pushed Aragon over 50%, so Florence can now start trying to stab them out. And that's... Oh, they're even going for white peace. And okay, yeah, I was thinking that Aragon might be cool just accepting a white peace. And if I were Aragon, I would just plant 2 mountain forts in here, which would make much more difficult for Florence to go and capture the southern tip of Italy next time. Especially since if Aragon maintained control of this, it might make landing troops for Ottomans much more difficult. Oh, we have Tuscany. If I recall, you don't really... Oh, he actually moved into Tuscan ideas. I don't remember what were the Florence one. Maybe they're even the same. But yeah, this set of ideas is pretty darn good. Yeah, just a lot of very good stuff. I don't really see anything that would be just a wasted idea slot. Like, if the worst thing you have is yearly prestige, which is pretty good. I mean, prestige gives you morale, and I mean, just morale is enough. I guess mercenary maintenance is not as useful as it used to be, but still, in a pinch, it's very good to have cheaper mercenaries, especially since they are very expensive right now. Muscovy is getting occupied. Yeah, the AI is just not really handling that much. Though this war was very bloody for the Eastern Europeans. They lost almost twice the numbers of Muscovy. But without player, there's not much you can do. I was told a long time ago that QQ was going to give all of Iraq to Mamluks, but still doesn't look like that's happening. What's that? That's Vassal of Mamluks. Vassal of Mamluks. So yeah, Mamluks control basically all of Arabian Peninsula and all of Tunis. Which, other than the Tunisia proper, is not that great land. They might have some lands to take in Eastern Africa, which is something. Morocco is not being played anymore, so that's all land that's probably going to be going to Mamluks pretty soon. Let's see how the truces are looking. It doesn't have a truce with Mamluks, so I'm guessing that the invasion is going to come pretty soon, especially since Mamluks already have a very nice vassal in Tlemcen, who has a lot of cores over Moroccan lands. And they probably want to snake for those gold mines. That's a lot of very good provinces, I think, in this area. Weren't they 2 gold mines in here? Oh, I guess it's just 1. So yeah, nothing much happened. It looks like Ottoman troops, for the most part, are staying. And yeah, there's no transport movement. which is what Ottomans need to do to be able to help their ally effectively next time the war starts, but at the same time means that their army is sitting in a pretty useless spot currently. Oh, we have Great Britain. Is there any other... Like Oirat is killing what remains of Timurids. Not too bad promises, to be honest, for this area. Very good trade goods as well. And the Mountain Fort. Nice take. Most of this land is dominated by Delhi. Yeah, Balochistan and Afghanistan are vassals. And Palitana. Actually, I wonder why did he create another vassal in here instead of giving it to Balochistan. Delhi is allied to Bengal, and Bengal is allied to a lot more people than anyone else. Oh, Yunnan is not being played, and it's already being invaded by Fujian, Bengal. Gansu is being protected apparently this session. We don't have anyone in Indochina. Ooh. That's a lot of land for Bengal to eat with no opposition at all. And with Yunnan dying, it's basically going to be just Fujian and Oirat in Far East. So few players in here. We have Congo starting to colonize in Brazil. England already is, I think, very close to forming a colonial nation in Caribbean. Okay, we're reaching a bit of a pause. Oh, Mali is here in Sahel Africa, and it's not in the best spot, to be honest. Looks like Great Britain got a nice chunk from the coast. They are allied to Ethiopia, Congo, and Rosvi, who Ethiopia doesn't quite have easy access there, and Congo is being actually starting to be surrounded by England as well. How is Mali looking? Oh yeah, not too hot. They have exploration ideas with no port at the moment. They are behind on tech in a big way. Not too hot, not too hot. How many gold mines did they lose? Looks like just one, so it's not too bad, but still. Looks like at least this one collapsed relatively recently, because this is a very low depth for a gold mine. And here we go. Mamluks are going into Morocco's land. It's say this one is going to be very quick. The fort line is pretty damn good, but that's not really designed to be protecting from this angle. It's mostly to protect against the Iberians, and either way it's not that difficult to push through AI forts, even with best possible positioning. Congo is at war with... Oh, the Congo actually controls half of the Victoria Lake area, but it's just like going for a finish. Still not that much, to be honest, for 1520. I think either Rosvi or Congo would conquer all of this by now, but some things take time. Let's take another quick look see at the alliance blocks. Looks like Lithuania, Danzig, Poland and Sweden are one, with Norway kind of being here, but it's mostly colonizing, looks like. And then we have Austria, who's only allied to AI Muscovy, so that's... They probably were forced to peace out the previous war that was happening last session. Or actually, I'm not sure. They do have a junior partner in Bohemia who has a lot of cores on Poland, so I'm expecting that Poland is really not keen on keeping Austria alive. And Westphalia is allied to France and Tuscany, which were just fighting in a pretty big war. Burgundy is firmly part of the Western European bloc. England, France. Wait, Aragon currently is only allied to Castile. And then Castile is also allied to Great Britain. And Tuscany is allied to Ottomans, while Ottomans are allied to Tuscany. There are some players that I'm not really sure where they're positioning on this kind of world balance, like Westphalia. They might be just mostly busy with expanding into HRE, since there's still a lot of free land in here. Oh, Poland got Ansbach. Actually, not that much. A lot of those places are just vassals. Still, the land in HRE usually is pretty darn good. Oh, do we have Prussia? Yep. Here comes Prussia. Did we just reach admin tech 10? Yeah, it looks like it. And with almost full ideas as well. This is going to be a one powerhouse nation in here. Bringing up all that quality. Not that much when it comes to, yeah, only 30 force limit. That's not much at all. Let's compare it to this area. Poland almost 100, pretty damn good. It did go for quantity. Sweden is a bit behind on ideas. And 75 force limit without quantity, that's pretty respectable. And Lithuania only 50 behind on ideas as well. Looks like colonialism didn't really spread to this part of Europe quite yet. Let's see how it's looking in Asia. Not that much better. It looks like Yunnan, Fujian, Delhi, and Mamluks have it, but other than that, it's just slowly spreading. Looks like, oh, Vijay is getting it from someone. Even Malaya doesn't have it. And they have exploration ideas. So what's actually the triggers to increase the colonialism? Oh yeah, I guess they won't be having any colonial nations anytime soon. Oh, it's still expanding into the Horde lands. Muscovy is almost fully occupied. And here we go. Looks like most of that land went to Lithuania. Just those three going. Why did they make a snake like this? Is it for a mission of Sweden? I'm not really sure what that's about. That's, I mean, I guess it's kind of a split, but that's really not a defensible border. I wonder how much Mamluks will focus on cutting off Iberians with this war with Morocco. They still have 3 years to take all occupations. And once they take this fort, then it will be very difficult for Iberians to take any land, I guess, except for the very coast provinces. And they're getting close to the gold mine as well. Yeah, they should be good. They should manage to 100% Morocco without having any pesky Iberians trying to lower their maximum available war score. Besides with the... Yeah. Hungary is still taking that, and actually I wonder, is it possible for Austria? So they already fired this mission. Did they lose their casus belli? Did they wait too long? Oh wait, did they just start it? Yeah, looks like it. And Ottomans, did they start at the same time? Yeah. Huh. So it looks like the Ottomans started the war and Austrians came in after? And there will be something left. I think it's pretty much impossible for Ottomans to cut off Austria completely. If they had help of Poland though, maybe if they sniped Bosnia as well. Austria could go for a dangerous play and just unionize Hungary while it's still at war with Ottomans, but I don't think that would work out well for Austria at all. Especially with no allies, only an AI one. But all Ottoman troops actually moved out of Italy, so now there's only 60k in here, which still might be... Oh, Tuscany has a hell of a force limit. Oh, they do have quantity, and I mean... Oh, wait. Prussia has less depth and half of their force limit. Maybe buildings? Just 2 for Prussia. And not really anything. Guess it's just quantity and maybe better autonomy overall. Yeah, Prussia looks like to have a bit of an autonomy here and there, and the situation looks much better for Tuscany. I think all the forts are going... no, only the capital is going to the Ottomans. Austria is managing to actually get quite a few provinces before Ottomans managed to grab them. They could make a very, very ugly peace. Hey, because everything the Austrians start to occupy, then Ottomans will be unable to take in their peace. Let's actually switch. Oh, they don't have... Oh, whoa, a player war. With Oirat? Ah, because Muscovy. Yeah. Fair enough. Oirat is now going to be retaking Bashgrid for the hordes, looks like. Which, I mean, for hordes, a gold mine is always pretty nice. Is he still a horde? Yep, he's still a steppe nomad. And how's his economy looking? He's not making that much from gold. Why is that? I guess it's just income from 1 gold mine. Wasn't there a second one? Or maybe it was removed in one of the patches. Yep, looks like it's no longer here. So a second gold mine is definitely going to help a lot Ograt with their economy. At least they're not too much in debt, and I mean 42 cuts is not too bad. I'm assuming Jujian, yeah, it's doing way better. And he has a lot of space to expand now, like wow. Well, actually, Jujian is richer than all of the Indians. Pretty impressive. Gansu is not that strong, to be honest. A respectable force limit, especially when combined with Oirat. Behind on ideas. Yeah, Jujian just managed to get the first idea of quantity, and that's a lot of manpower. Oirat is a bit behind on ideas as well, but that's... I mean, that's not necessarily typical for hordes, because if they raise a lot of debt, they can get a lot of mana this way. Pretty low manpower, but together Gansu and Neurath can still be a fair challenge to Jian. Especially if they... I mean, Oirat could try and snipe some Korean land ASAP. That would be pretty nice. Oh, so it looks like Austria just went for provinces in this Hungarian war. I wonder how much of it is being a deal with Ottomans and how much is just those two fighting for influence. Austria is just alone in Europe. It's probably in the worst position, especially when there's the Eastern Bloc all allied to each other right next to it. And the Ottomans and the Austria is in the horrible spot. They really need to find a friend. And I guess it's either the Western Alliance or the Ottomans. Because Poland probably hates the fact that Bohemia has all of those cores, and I mean, those vassals as well are being quite problematic for Poland. Makes it much more difficult to create a working defensive line. So yeah, I hope Austria manages to join either side, and you'd think it would be possible because in the last war it seemed that Tuscany and Ottomans versus the Western Alliance was pretty even. And with additional, how is Austria is, I mean, bit behind on ideas, but they at least have almost economic finished. Though frankly, yeah, the third idea group is quite a bit far away. The economy is okay, thanks to that gold mine. 50 gold of income. That's comparable to Tuscany, which is pretty nice. 60 force limit. And Hungary actually still exists in What? Did the Ottomans just... Oh, Ottomans now attacking Bosnia. Why did they peace out like this? Oh, they took just a few provinces? Yeah, they took just those two provinces and then went to war against Bosnia and got a second war against Hungary. I'm not sure what that's about. Are they really just that close? No, that's still too much to annex in one war. Wonder what's that about. Oh, some alright, troops got beaten back by Muscovy. How is... I mean, I assume... Yeah, Muscovy is bankrupt. And that's... what? That's it? Really? I'm kind of surprised. Maybe they have some kind of deal with Castile, but I think they could take much more land, especially if they try to snake and cut off some access. How is Rosvi looking? They're always the strongest. Oh yeah, all that gold provinces is making it easy to get a lot of income. They're not too hot on ideas, and they're going for 2 admin 2 instead of 2 mill and 1 other idea group. They are behind on mill as well. That's not too hot, to be honest. 75 force limit with quantity? Congo is exploration expansion, so no military ideas. The Africans are not looking too hot when it comes to military. Ethiopia is going typical quality quantity, but in quantity first order. Which I think the best choice, or maybe the most big choice in the mod, is quality economics, because you're not getting the dev reductions from the policy with quantity and economics, which in vanilla game would be probably the best choice. Yeah, people are choosing mostly quality economic quantity. But quantity first, I mean, it's fair enough. Just that when you finish economics, you get a nice 5 discipline bonus. Though, to be fair, 10% production, 10% land force limit modifier is not too bad as a free admin policy. But, I mean, I think there can be an argument made for quantity first. Especially for nations that are not necessarily going to be fighting a lot of player wars at the beginning, because with more troops it's just easier to wipe out AIs. And you get more manpower reinforcements. But taking no mill ideas is a pretty risky play. Good for Congo and Rosvi that they just decided to play easy, peacefully with each other. Otherwise it could be very dangerous for one of those. The idea-wise mod looks... they went for quantity first as well. I wonder how many of those people just are deciding as a actual choice, which I think is fair, and how many are just not realizing that the policy with economic is nerfed for quantity. I mean, it's fair both ways. There's a lot of small changes in the mod that it's hard to keep up with, to be fair. And Ottomans, of course. Did anyone actually finish all of the ideas from the third group? I assume if Ottomans didn't, then most likely no one did. Maybe also check what's the current... Oh, the current Sultan is, to be honest, not that great. Let's check the Indians. Vijay is not doing too hot. Yeah, no one really has all 3 idea slots yet, so it's fair. Not that much happening. Oh wait, Vijay is going for Hormuz. Winterwolf, Burgundy. Oh my god, that's feels bad, man. Oh my god, a 1-1-1. A global settler increase is pretty nice. Oh man, that must suck. Did they really have a 0-0-0 this entire time? I mean, if they did, they're actually doing pretty damn well. Mali is being salty about this British Guinea. But yeah, with most Africans not being really military focused, it might be difficult to get a decent resistance to the British. Might be that Congo and Rosvi are using the fact that Mali is here to delay British and let them establish their own domination over the south. I mean, Congo is already getting to the Cape, while also expanding in Brazil. There's not that much competition for Americas. Looks like there's basically Norway in north, Britain in center, and Congo in middle. Is Britain even actively yeah, they are expanding. Yeah, they have actually 3 colonies going at once, which is pretty good tempo. Same for Norway. Yeah, Congo has 2 and Rossi has 1. Malaya only has 2, but they are already making their way to Australia. That's a damn good province. How is dev looking in Australia in this current patch? I assume it's from the... No, the natives are not really deving that much. Here is 4, so that's pretty decent. Some really good provinces. Let's see if any gold spawned yet. Let's make it a bit easier to see. Not yet. 5% is 10% on some provinces. Not too bad chances. What you can do is keep resetting your colonies and hope you roll the gold, which is for a nation like Malaya, who really doesn't have that much issue, has a lot of money. You can just spend a bit more, waste the colonies for a bit of time, and try to roll a really good gold province somewhere. We're at being almost finished with Muscovy. I'm honestly kind of surprised. Ottomans are... Wait, are those... This is Lithuania. This is Muscovy. Ottomans could grab some... No, it's actually a vassal of QQ, so QQ could grab a bit of land in here. I mean, just up to here would be pretty nice. Get another modern fort to defend against possible aggressions from the north. How is QQ doing, by the way? They're getting decently close to reforming into something else, and then they will be able to form Persia, which would be a pretty nice... Oh, they're not doing too hot on ideas, to be honest. Just finishing quantity. They're doing okay on tech, at least, except military. And they would really use colonialism at this point. Still, they're not in too much of a debt. For QQ, they're doing okay. And they are allied to Mamluks. They're still going to be eating quite a few vassals. Some of them with decent provinces. I mean, at this point, Ottomans are not going to be expanding into QQ from where they are. They want to go first into Mamluks, I assume. Yeah, they would want firm control over Aleppo before they go into Basra, because otherwise they're gonna be feeding trade to Mamluks. So I suppose QQ is safe on that front. And Delhi, I mean, would he want to expand into QQ? I'm pretty sure there could be a few more mountain forts in this area. Yep, there's some good provinces in here that are missing the mountain forts. Oh, this are some good provinces for mountain forts, with rivers from every side as well. Oh, this one. And that's missing for the time being. Though Delhi is pretty huge already. They are pretty close to their max. I assume if they even try to annex everything they have in their vassals, that would put them quite a bit over. And you don't really want to go too much over the government. And if Ottomans are not over the government, then I assume no one is. Oh, Malaya is. And yeah, that's 12% development cost, which is really not something you want. 25% advisor, which for them I suppose is fine. Especially if they land their privileges. It basically counts down to 0. Why they have it so low is they're just a kingdom, yeah. And I assume Ottomans are empire, yep. Also Ottoman government, and maybe... Oh yeah, if Malaya got a few more privileges, they could increase their government capacity. And they would be then at... yeah, they could be in a pretty good position. But maybe they're just preferring to keep it over the limit rather than using those privileges. Which is, I suppose, fair enough. It's not like it's crippling him, really. Looks like there's another war involving Austria. But I assume it's not the real war. Goslar, which is an OPM in HRE. And Austria is still the emperor. Tuscany and Burgundy are in HRE, even Hungary. It's a pretty surprisingly big HRE for this point in the game. And it doesn't look like a real war. Russia only has Sweden. I mean, Sweden is going somewhere with this 50k. Maybe just Baden? I mean, 50k is not enough to beat on... ah, wait, there's 30k of Prussian troops in here already. So it is kind of sort of a real war. Oh, damn, the standing Austrian army is very small. And the vassals of Austria are not really doing their job, just running to Sweden. Yeah, his standing army was way too small. How is his... he's missing a fort over here. That would be a really nice place. Yeah, he's missing at least one fort on his northwestern side. I assume the Prussian quality is gonna blow him out of the water. Yeah, 10% morale, 10% discipline more. Over 1 point of morale more. Just they gonna get wrecked. Even on the Molten Fort, I assume. And with additional 50k from Sweden, who are, I bet you, not that not too shabby themselves. Oh, 125 discipline. Pretty damn nice. They have strict, and they are Norse actually. Oh, nice. And we have Hussite Prussia, also pretty nice. Yeah, that's gonna be a destruction. It's gonna be heals for Austria, but still. Actually, -2. Best battle they could hope for. A good roll for Austria to begin with. They're not gonna get stack wiped, I think. Both sides, actually only Austria has cannons, which means they're fighting a bit more effectively, but oh, that's bad roll. I mean, it went about as well as they could possibly hope for. France is wondering what Sweden is doing in the south. Well, looks like Prussia and Sweden didn't get the memo about it being an AI war, because they are going into Austria proper. Oh, Sweden just might be showing up on time to stack wipe some Austrian troops. On low morale. They took it. Oh, yep, that's stack wipe. Austria is really just not recruiting forces. And it looks like they're just... they have a really high loan cap. Yeah, France was wondering what the Swedes were doing in Prague, and now the discussion just went into history of Swedes in Prague. Not really on topic. Yeah, Austria looks like just gave up. Now Poland is at war as well. Well, looks like they didn't manage to join either the Ottoman or the French bloc to either side, and now they're just gonna get wrecked. I wonder where those guys are going. Who has the best income, Jakub? That's a good question, actually. I think it's the Ottomans. 160 ducats from taxation, production, and trade, so that's like not cheating with gold or anything. Typical trade nations. I mean, is there anyone else who has over 100 at least? Delhi has 94. Malaya just barely 100.5. Maybe the Africans with their gold mines. Oh, Rosvi has second income. So it takes the top three is Ottomans, Rosvi, and Malaya. Though Rosvi is propped by their gold and Malaya is propped by their trade and gold. Meanwhile, Ottomans are just pure nation, death, and power. Oh, so the French decided to intervene in the Eastern European War and attacked Switzerland. Which, I mean, this is some really good positions for forts, so especially when you consider that he's fighting the Italians. I'm surprised he's not going for Savoy and Milan just to deny them to Tuscany. Looks like there's a war of some kind in Asia. Wei was... what? Why is... Oirat attacked Wei and Zhujian joined this war? Why? Ah, Defender of Faith, I suppose. Yeah, I think so. They just didn't want to lose their Defender of Faith, but I think Zhujian is just going to let Oirat have Beijing. Which, I mean, that's some pretty darn good provinces. And a nice place for a fort. Though a horde might not necessarily want a fort on a mountain. Though I think it's arguable, you can both ways, whether to have mountain forts as a horde or not. Depends on how you want to play. I think it's, in this part of the war, it's decent strategy to have almost no forts. I mean, always it's better to have forts, but since hordes are so poor anyways, and you think you have better micro than your opponents, you can really abuse the size of provinces and the distances. Though I think it's 99% of the times it's better to have forts. Austria is now recruiting a lot of mercenaries. And it is a bit late because by this point... Wait, Burgundy is also starting a war. Constance was hired by Austria to conquer the Reims. Well, the French kings must be not be that happy about it. It's 80k of troops, which is pretty darn nice, but they're going in with almost zero morale. They will at least get tick. Oh no, I don't think they even got a tick. I mean, it is a -2 for Sweden, and there's 30k more coming. At least the morale is pretty even, and with the -2, Sweden only has a bit of an advantage in discipline. I think -1 is about 8% of discipline, so that's 16 bonus for Austria. And yeah, just they would have won this, but they should have waited a bit more for the morale recovery. Or just started to recruit those troops earlier. They did go and take all the loans, which is definitely the smart thing to do. And they could take the next Miltech, which is not worth much. But hey, it's something. That's good. Is oh yeah, they're fighting Ulm. Fair enough. Good thing Ottomans didn't join those wars yet. I mean, France and Burgundy probably don't want much from Austria. The only issue is Poland, who really wants those lands from, and those as well, which might go to Prussia. It would be thematic at least. Silesia going to Prussia. It's a bit too late to decide to go for an all-out war. I guess if he saves this, but he lost his mountain fort and hill. It's just they are going for Muscovy in the Georgia area. I was surprised that QQ didn't try take at least a few provinces. They could get a really good fourth province in here. I don't think it's an actual player war. It's for some reason Georgian is in here because Muscovy is allied to. Okay. Maybe it was done by Jujian to, I don't know, Oirat, but Oirat already finished his war. And I mean, he's at war with Oirat anyways, and he's not doing anything about it. Oh, we have 1k Rosvi troops in China. Maybe he was just... yeah, he was probably going for maps. He can see quite a bit of the war at this point. Compared to... if you actually can see all of this as well, but it might have spread over time. So I mean, Austria did manage to save one fort, which is protecting quite a bit of his land. Like, he has a safe corner in here at least. He will be running out of... how much over force limit is he? 60 regiments over force limit. Yeah, and he still doesn't control his gold mine, though, to be honest, that wouldn't really matter that much. And yeah, France is out of this because it's not like they wanted anything from actual Austrian land. Burgundy, I mean, they would want like 2 provinces at best, though. Yeah, clearly Burgundy was thinking that Austria is just collapsing, so they wanted to grab anything they could. It's not really, I think, that great provinces when it comes to defensiveness for them, but I mean, it's 22 death for almost 3. Assuming Austria collapses, which I think... and I mean, Prussia can peace out at any point because they can just stop. They can just end the war with Goslar, and the AI will most likely just accept. Yeah, they can end the war at any point they want. Austria should not have even joined this war. That's just a very bad position for them. Prussian Space Marines are going on the front line with no cannons, and Poland doesn't bring any cannons as well. I mean, Austria has only 5k, but that's at least something. It's mostly even terrain, except for the small defensive advantage for Prussians. But the morale for Austria is... will they even manage? They managed to just barely reinforce, but there's another 26k of Polish troops. Oh! Austria actually won, which means they will be most likely able to retake their capital. But the issue is, in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't really change that much. Because, yeah, they will get a bit more income. They might be able to even take a few extra loans. Actually, they could take 20 more extra loans, which in this case would be about a year and a half of fighting for them. So they should probably just take them as soon as possible. They have about 3 more years of fighting, even less if they take any battles. They did retake the gold mine as well, which is a huge boost to income. Yeah, the main problem of Austria is well, first they reacted a bit too slow to the invasion and started recruiting too late. And the other is they still don't have any allies, even if they managed to fight a fairly decent war, defend themselves. Over time it's just like Poland, Prussia, it's just no sweat for them. Oh wait, Poland actually has... that's probably from the Muscovy War. That's actually good for Poland. That might mean that they don't really care either way, because they were going to go bankrupt from the Muscovy War. And now they just get to use their troops a bit more. That does put the timing on Poland as well, though, which... But they're in a way better position than Austria, I think. And they have a lot of strong allies. Austria is using their mercenary stacks, which means that it's going to be difficult to keep them together and fight like solid battles with good combat width and good cannon lines. I mean, he still has 30k manpower, so he could be... Yeah, I wonder what will the Ottomans do. Oh, wait. Don't we have... Yeah, we have Protestantism already. And Reform Desire is still rising after the... Oh, because we only have Protestantism, not the other ones. Fair. I mean, Ottomans might go for Austria, but they don't really need to. They are already pretty much at their government capacity, and they have still a bit more land to take in Hungary, in Russia. And maybe they don't necessarily want to angry the entire Eastern Bloc? I'm not sure. They could go for this land. Oh, looks like Austria peaced out and they just... Oh my god, Poland is doing even more snaking. Now they're snaking to the gold mine in Austria. Which is a lot of income lost for the Emperor. Still the Emperor. So this wasn't, I think, a tragic piece for Austria. The issue is... Oh, they have a plutocratic coup coming. That's not nice. They need to have someone to help them, like anyone. They might have lost a province or two. Yeah. And truce break by... What? By Austria? I mean, fair enough. It does leave Poland with 62% of our extension, which is very annoying. And Austria would be going bankrupt either way. Though, yeah, the numbers and quality are not looking good for Austria. It's kind of meaningless without any strong allies. And Tuscany is going to be the first one to take Milan, actually. which I think is pretty bad news for France, since they're gonna be forced to go through a mountain fort if they want to invade from the north. Assuming Tuscany builds one there. And they actually built one in Abruzzi. And Aragon did not build any forts in Italy. Let's see how it goes. The fight might be decided in the first few battles. I mean, there are decent numbers of Austrians. And they're giving up siege on the mountain fort in Tyrol. Focusing to the farmland, which is decent strategy, but now they have an isolated stack that's gonna be invaded by 100k Prussian and Swedish troops, while the rest of the Austrian army is stuck running around, and there's another 30k Polish stack. It's gonna be a massacre. This time they do have a full cannon back row. Poland has some cannons as well. And Austria is fighting with... Ah, okay, that ends up being a 0, so that's not too bad. And their reinforcements for the Polish battle is going to be cut off. It is a mountain province. So Prussia is fighting with a -3. But the numbers are just too strong. Well, this is at least annoying for Poland, but that's not really... Oh, this is golden era for Austria. It's been going for a few years, so it's not really... It wasn't really started for this war. This is certainly being annoying for Poland, but that's not going to be, I think, too big of an issue. They are pretty damn close to their loan cap. If someone were to, like, Ottomans could possibly go for Poland as well. And I mean, I think the Eastern Alliance is maybe even more of a threat to Ottomans than the Western one. I think the Swedish and Prussian quality, let's compare them to France, for example, which is supposed to be the strongest quality-wise. Yeah, the French quality is weaker in both discipline and morale to both Sweden and Prussia. I assume there's no one really stronger than them quality-wise. Castile has pretty sweet morale. But still not as high as Prussia's. And Aragon has pretty decent discipline, but much weaker morale. How are Ottomans looking? Decent discipline, but way worse morale. I mean, Prussia probably has more morale than anyone in the game. 5.7. Let's check the Indians. Oh. Yep. Prussia has, looks like by far the highest morale in the game, which, I mean, that's kind of expected. A few final battles I expect on the... Austrians are protecting their triangle in here. Safe lands in Carniola. That's a good leader trait as well for... Oh, and Austria actually wins. Which will most likely mean they will be able to push out the invaders for the time being, but that's really for the time being. And they're losing even more money now. They could take a few more loans. Like 4 more, so that's... I think that's like 2 more months. Did they go even more over the force? Oh yeah, they did. They should probably consolidate whenever they can. They are going to fight for Vienna, and they might be even able to win, to be honest. The Prussia, there's not many Prussians left to speak of, and there's only 30k Polish troops coming in to help them. Sweden is trying to come to the rescue, but that's still not an overwhelming number. If they're going to be coming piecemeal like this, then Austria might be able to win still, because the line is collapsing for Poland. There's no Prussians left at all. There's still some reinforcements for Austria. And now the Swedes that are coming in, they don't have a full front line. So that means they're gonna be fighting ineffectively. They have no cannons. Though the morale for Austria is being quite low. Let's see if the better front line for... better front line is not enough for Austria because it's already collapsing. It was pretty damn close. Oh wait! It's just Saxony vassal. The 40k of Sweden is going to arrive just in time. It was very close actually. Austria just barely lost. And it is... Yeah, Poland kind of doesn't want to fight battles because they want to avoid losing more money. They are still getting pretty damn good advisors. And Austria is 2-1-2, it's not too bad either. And they all have the good military advisors, which is, except Lithuania, who is not really fighting in this war. Either morale or discipline. Looks like all the Eastern Europeans are going for... Oh, wait. What's going on? We have... that's probably they were called in for one reason or another, but not like a real war. And France is at war with Castile? Burgundy, war of honor between Burgundy and Castile. It must be a fake war. Yeah. There's... I wonder what's that about. There's a lot of French troops in Switzerland. There's no rebels coming, so that's not the reason why they were sent there. And the morale was just raised. It's just Castile. It's just France, though. They. I see. Oh, that's gonna be spicy. Austria is not being supported by anyone when it comes to money. They might be able to... Oh, no, that's gonna be good. Just like 2 more months? Yeah, 2 more months. And there might be a lot of nations coming in this. Or maybe not. Yeah, I think Westphalia is going to be joining. Burgundy might be joining as well. Damn, even England is keeping their maintenance high, but it might be because... Oh, we have Cuba. I mean, I don't think they would be keeping their maintenance all the way up for some colonies. Okay, next month. I'm sure Austria has to know about this as well. The unfortunate thing though is they're over 50%, so Poland will be able to force them out. And they don't really have that much stability, and when they bankrupt they're gonna be at 0 stability, so they won't be able to defend themselves at all. Vienna is really falling. Free Sea General, that's pretty damn good. Very useful. Okay. It is time. France can go to war versus Poland at any minute. And I mean, even if they're not going to help Austria, They might just be going for the gold mine, to be honest. It is a very good province. I mean, it even has 14 death. Anyone who can get it before it collapses is going to be very happy about that. And Poland still didn't core it because they cannot core while they're fighting Austria. Oh, this one isn't the core of Austria. Oh, Poland gets 5% morale, which is pretty nice. Austria still has their safe triangle in here. Cannot stack wipe them while they control this. And they are costing, like, Poland actually has a fair bit of manpower, but they are not doing too hot when it comes to money. They're actually pretty damn close to collapsing, to bankrupting. Sweden is out of manpower, as is Prussia. And this is a perfect time for France to go in. And Ottomans could go in at any moment. Okay, that's some mercenaries. France is going to be coming with a real punch. I think Austria is doomed unless, like, after the war they ally France. Because it's hard for me to believe that France is just gonna be giving up the gold mine and letting it go back into Austria. They could do that, maybe. Oh, that's an unfortunate stack wipe by Austrians. They only withdrew a single province. Austria is being unnecessarily aggressive, I think. Oh wait, there's a war. Nah, must be a fake war. I'm just caused by something like Defender of Faith or something. Mewar is what? It's Hindu. Yeah, and I betcha. Yep, Malay is Defender of Faith. So that's why there was a war going on between those two. I mean, France must have told Austria what's going on, right? If so, there's really no need to be going so aggressive. And they especially should be just consolidating regiments. They really don't want to go bankrupt. Maybe they don't know. I mean, France must be going. I mean, Westphalia is recruiting a ton of troops as well. Going over force limit. It must be going soon, I mean. And the war is going to be much easier while the Eastern Alliance is still fighting Austria. Though Austria, frankly, just might not last. Pretty soon they're gonna be at 100%. Poland just might go bankrupt. Like, they have 2 more loans and they barely have any money to speak of. The entire alliance barely has any manpower. Meanwhile, France is basically ready to go. Westphalia as well. Canberg. Lithuania, what? 99%. Yep. Austria has to give up. Yeah, don't pause for 99%. That's... The unfortunate thing in... what? The thing in... what? I guess they took... yeah, Silesia. And it all went to Poland. The unfortunate thing of being an observer in EU4 is you can't chat for some reason. Which is kind of weird to me because, I mean, if I were to cheat and like tell players that stuff. First off, it would be in global chat. Or I guess I could message people, but I can just message people outside of the game, no problem. That's really weird. Maybe it's some really weird technical issue with Paradox, you never know. Westphalia, I mean, by now Poland should know what's going on. And they should know that they're in a pretty tough spot. Maybe they just give up 100 war score to France. Frankly. Did they just... yeah, they went just bankrupt. Tuscany is not wasting this time, taking even more land in Italy. They have most of Milan. They're not building a fort yet, but I'm pretty sure once they get the core, they will start getting a fort here as well. I mean, just getting a fort in here would be nice as well, forcing your enemy, if they want to avoid the modern forts, to go through this narrow passage, then you can just try to snipe their, cut off their reinforcements. Would be a pretty good position as well. I like that he's building a lot of forts. Even on farmlands, at least there's a lot of rivers. This one is not really perfect. I assume a lot of those forts are from AIs as well. And yeah, here we go. French conquest of Intal, which is the gold province. We have Poland, Austria, what? Is that the Defender of Faith thing? No. It's not the HRE thing. Why did Austria join against France? What? What the hell? And they're not like in an alliance or anything. Yeah, Burgundy joined the war as well. Huh? Looks like Poland is just sitting back. Sweden is sitting outside of... where is Swedish army actually? Oh, that's just 40k. They have really no manpower. Oh, wow. Yeah, I think the Eastern Alliance just has to give up this freebie to France. This Austrian war is going for this one right after finishing with Muscovy. Turns out that was just a bit too greedy. Looks like Prussia is going to attempt to go for something, but they probably just don't have the numbers, honestly. And I mean, it's not like Austria was able to give up much of a resistance, because all things considered, this just wasn't that expensive for anyone in the Eastern Alliance. But it did delay them going... First, that did delay them going bankrupt and recovering their manpower. And also it gave France direct land access to Poland. To a very precious province as well. I'm thinking this war wasn't planned at all by anyone. Maybe once they invaded Austria. Prussia is going for Westphalia, but there's like 3 times the numbers, if not more, 4 times. Prussia did manage to get into 6 morale points with 130 discipline, but there's only 50k of them. Like, over time they're just gonna get worn down, even if they win one battle. Yeah, they just keep on reinforcing. The Swedes did manage to get in here, but they have more cannons than they have infantry. Which I guess is fair enough, because Prussia didn't have enough cannons or something. Okay, they did manage to win. And did Sweden just recruit a whole bunch of mercenaries? I suppose if they just... Yeah, I mean, they can just manage to hold with cash. Oh, and apparently that would help a lot. Prussia has plus 20% morale, but only for 3 more years. And they have 100% militarization, which is very nice for discipline. But they have to fight without Poland for 4 more years. And Lithuania looks like it's only sending, yeah, basically nothing. Looks like the entire war effort is coming down to Prussia with their 40k and another 80k from Sweden. But they are so out of manpower, like... And they're both over their force limits as well. They're not losing much money. Sweden is actually making positive income still, so that's actually pretty impressive. With 433 advisors. Oh, I guess his being innovative does help quite a bit. He basically pays no money for his advisors. They're basically free for him. Yeah, he probably has the... he doesn't even have the minus 50% from events. That's pretty sweet. This is... I think there was a Swedish thing from missions or something. Oh, we have Age of Reformation. That gave reduced advisor cost as well. Yes, the... Reform... Oh yeah, it's the... Of course. Yeah, it's the privilege. So the French and Westphalians are reorganizing. Burgundians are hanging out in the area, so I assume they might be joining in as well. Okay, Poland is offering the best provinces for free. So I don't think France really wants to snake any more than those 2 provinces. But they have a really good opportunity right now to hit the Eastern Alliance, because they're in a really bad spot. Like, by the time Poland is able to do anything in fighting, Prussia and Sweden might be spent. Like, Prussia might be actually occupied. He doesn't have that much depth. It only forest at best, because that's what most of northern Germany is, just woods everywhere. Pretty not that great river crossings in here, okay ones in here. So another battle going on. And well, the Prussians are winning, but they already committed almost all of their reserves. Is there anything else? Yeah, there's a lot of Westphalians, a lot of Burgundians. As long as they keep the battle going, Prussians just don't stand a chance. It's a 5-5 versus 2-4. A better leader would be very useful for the Westerners. No, they're just gonna be grinded down. And yeah, now it's a problem. Because Prussia actually doesn't have any manpower troops, it's all mercenaries. And to be honest, if they really fight really aggressive... The problem with the high Prussian morale is they're gonna be losing a lot of troops per battle, because they will almost die, all of them, before they retreat. Which means they might even run out of the mercenary manpower. Like, already they are 2/3 of the maximum. And they're gonna lose, like, what, 15k more? And they only have mercenaries right now. They're gaining manpower quickly, but that's because there's no troops fighting. I think it's similar for... Oh, Sweden actually has a few manpower troops, which is why they're at 0. So, if France is not going just for those 2 provinces, maybe they want to give a lot of lands to Westphalia. I was thinking they might even accept the peace offer from Poland, but looks like they want more. They're not gonna let this opportunity go away without taking at least a good chunk. They are focusing on Poland though, and they do not control the war goal, which is, I think, a bit of a waste because they could easily occupy it. They took the fort next to it. And just to have it ticking, because 40% war score takes a long time to tick up actually. So here goes this fort, which probably cuts off a Landshut as well. And no, they have access through Austria. Looks like Austria just peaced out. White peace with France. Yeah, I'm still not sure why they were even in this war. Around 50 miltech, what? I'm not sure what he meant. Everyone except Poland has the 11 miltech, but 11 is not that relevant, so it's not too big of a deal. Oh, Ottomans, Mamluks made the Ayyubid Empire. I think their ideas are pretty damn good. So let's see, Shockfire, I guess that's okay. Manpower, always nice. Morale, cavalry combat, core creation, stability, goods produced, discipline. I mean, it's okay. Don't remember what exactly the Mamluks had. It's not mind-blowing, to be honest. At least it has both morale and discipline. I mean, for fighting it's pretty good. The economy only has only goods produced. That's still pretty good. And core creation. I mean, it's not really useful past the... like, it stops being useful right about now. And France is going for another strike. That's a lot of Prussian troops, to be fair. But still, like, that's half, with Swedish troops, half of what the Westerners are going to throw at them. And Westphalia is trying to cut off reinforcements. They might snipe some Swedish stacks. Oh, that's gonna be nasty. Most Swedes do make it into battle, but 14k is gonna get sniped. Wonder if those were manpower troops. And at the same time, the army is being ground down in the Vogtland. Oh, that was mercenaries as well. And yeah, the Prussians are fighting twice the numbers, but Westphalia and France can throw it at them. They're still doing... Well, I mean, Westphalia is kinda losing a lot of manpower already. But it's still... They are fighting at -2, which is making the thing as difficult for themselves as possible, but still, I mean, if Prussians are losing on a -2 for their enemy, that's bad. And pretty soon, Prussians won't even have mercenaries to fight with. Wait, this wasn't even a fort. And France attacked into -2 anyway. Oh, that was bold move. Prussia is instantly going back into the front line. It is a bit risky. They are being protected by fort lines, so that's fine. Oh, France is... Uh-huh. They're doing kind of hook movement around Saxony. And maybe they were fishing to try and capture some Prussian troops while their morale was low, but... Oh, for some reason the rebels have German names. Probably because Alex, the mod, did save edits, and he plays with German EU4. There's no other play wars. Lithuania looks like they got stack webbed at some point, so they're not even participating in fighting at all. Poland still has 3 more years. More like 2 at this point. But yeah, this entire part of Poland is occupied either by rebels or the Western Alliance. And they're starting to try and push into Prussia, with the units of Sweden not really having time to reinforce as much as they would want to. Prussia as well is fighting with like 2/3 reinforced stacks. And it is a -2 for the Westerners again. So they're going for the most difficult path they possibly could be, but I mean, despite the fact they are somewhat powering through, they are making it way more close than it probably should be, and way better leader for Prussia as well. We got a pause. Someone disconnected, and I think that was... We are losing. We lost. Oh, I assume Ayubits are going to be joining soon. We lost QQ and Ayubits. Looks like Prussia is going to win this one. France and Westphalia should really go from this approach, I think. And they could split up Sweden and Prussia, that would be really nice. There's no real need to go for this fort currently. And they should start to hurry a bit, because... Why is Norway out of all people? I mean, he's not even in this war. Poland will be joining this war in a few years, and with Polish 100k it will be much more difficult for France, Westphalia and Burgundy to push through. And France and Westphalia are already committing a fair bit. They still don't have the war goal. Tuscany is using this opportunity to take most of Italy. Yep, they're building fort on Como, just as I would expect them to. Ottomans doing a fair bit of drilling. Castile in the meantime took a big chunk of Moroccan lands, with the gold mine included. Mali is actually doing surprisingly well, doing more and more conquest. And here come the hot joins for Ayubits, I bet. Let me do a quick check of what stuff happened in on Discord. While the hot join isn't going. Oh, that's QQ. There is a bit of a timing on France and Westphalia, but I really think that it shouldn't be. If they stop making it so difficult for themselves, they should be able to push quite easily through Sweden and Prussia. just stop fighting on a -2 force, because that's making the pretty bad quality situation even worse. How far out are the Merc manpower recovering? Actually quite fast, because they're gaining more... never mind. It's 268. So not too bad, really. Those guys are almost out. And other than that, they're doing okay, and they have 3, 4? 4. Those guys are pretty good as well. And yeah, this time they're going for Bremen, which is, I think, much better choice. They will probably get the crossing, but at least it's just -1 and not -2. And they really need to roll for a better leader. What's their... Westphalia should for sure have a much better leader. Yeah, the 5-3 at least. Please. Okay, Sweden is actually the one opening, with cannons coming behind, of course, because that's how the mercenaries work, I assume. France didn't have the full cannon line, only 16k. Still no Westphalian leader to be seen. They're fighting against the 5-5 with +10% land fire damage. Where's the... I mean, it's nice that he's cutting off, but not really. Okay, it looks like the Westphalians are still running around, not doing anything with the best leader that would be really useful in the main battle. I don't know about that. Seems a bit wasteful, but yeah, the removal of the additional point of terrain and a bit, I think, better reinforcements for Westerners this time is going to let them win, unless they get some terrible rolls. They should win at this point. And here comes, I assume, the Ayubids. Oh my god. This is gonna take a while. It's not too bad, just kinda slow. So Sebastian is Flemish? And yeah, Prussians and Swedes are going home. Yeah. So what's the next target? Hamburg or Lindenberg? I guess both kind of work out. Either way, like, maybe they will be able to snipe both, yeah, because Westphalia is going pretty fast. What? Yeah, Just go with the cannons, bombard the... What? Yeah, just stay there. If they're lucky, they might even take the fort, and then it's just Hamburg. Magdeburg is kind of difficult with rivers all the way around, but they will be able to get to Berlin from the north, which will allow them to go around the river crossing. They did go to Lindenburg through south, which was the path of the crossing, so that might not be ideal, but Sweden is still far away, and Prussia only has 30k in here of troops that are not reinforced at all, so I'm not sure they even want to engage. It's gonna be a while before they get to full manpower, and fighting without troops in... to be fair, Westphalia is... Okay, they are reorganizing their regiments. And they have... maybe they have professionalism? Well, they got some manpower one way or the other. Prussia has a fair bit, but that's, as I said, because they're not fighting with manpower troops. And Sweden is basically at 0. And here goes Nuremberg and Bremen. Poland still needs, like, what? About 20 months? 1.5 years. Lithuania is really not doing much in this war. But they are in a very shaky state, like only 20 income. Sweden is by far the richest. I mean, Polish income is a bit gimped by all the occupations. Yep, you were right, Jakub. Ottomans are going for Austria. And since Austria is bankrupt, that's just gonna be just a wipe. I wonder what they're gonna go for land-wise. Probably connection to Tuscany. That's the thing you would expect most, to be honest. A double battle. Prussia managing to catch some Westphalian reinforcements, and that's just infantry. There's a lot of Swedish troops. Looks like they went for some additional mercenaries. Though the position of those Prussians is not the best, to be honest. Yeah, I would, as France, I would just go for them, and actually they're just letting them join the main battle. Not sure about that. I think that was a good opportunity for French to catch some Prussians in a bad position. No other wars other than the Ottoman-Austrian one and the West versus East. Yeah, I assume they're gonna take this, and then I wonder, are they going to go north and west or east? Because this might change who they're gonna be fighting in the future. And -2 again. I mean, they still have 80k, almost 100k in reserve, so the French and Westphalians are going to win most likely. And Westphalia has, damn, I mean, the morale of both sides really increased a lot. Yeah, Westphalia is very close in quality to, I mean, still actually far behind, but really increased their quality by a lot. Prussia as well. They went all in on the quality. They have almost 6.5 morale, like, wow. I think a lot of people have like not even 4. We had like, oh, we have Punjab. It looks like, well, Bengal, for example, is below 4. And Prussia is at 6. Though, yeah. I think if the Westerners focused a bit more, they could have cut off... Actually, wait. Isn't Sweden already cut off from Prussia? Yeah, I think they might be with the Lunenburg occupation. Which is really bad for the Easterners. I mean, they could go around or just ship the troops via Baltic, but that's a huge delay. 1 year till Poland is out of bankruptcy. And there's still no occupations on the war goal, and even the rebels are going for the mountain fort. The Westerners should really just... I mean, ticking war score is gonna take so long. It only went 23 for the East, and they have controlled it for 4 years, more or less uninterrupted. It's really just huge oversight from their side. They would be at, like, if they had 25 from the war goal, they would be at 60, France. No, wait, actually it's positive for Poland currently. So France would be at 40 war score. Almost at stab hitting range. Prussia is going to be trying to recruit some manpower troops, because I assume they have no more mercs. I mean, they could recruit the ones with a bit lower morale. And this is the only one they have left. Why are we paused? Oh, it's a break. Will Prussia bankrupt soon? They still have a few years in them, and by the time Poland will hop in, they don't have that much of an income. Thunder is joining probably on Cuba? Or maybe one of... Oh, that's Norway internet for you. Pretty nice. No, I think transferring doesn't really depend on the connection. I think like ping and the speed of your PC, mostly. And we lost Bengal? Probably just a crash or something. Hopefully it won't bug the game, because it's sometimes can happen that players disconnecting can cause the game to be stuck in this hot turning, but it shouldn't happen right now. I hope. So it looks like the Eastern Alliance is just gonna be taking the pain for being a bit too greedy and going to war with Austria before cleaning up their situation in home after the Muscovy War. If Poland was in this war with full power, and Sweden and Prussia would be with full manpower at the start of this war as well, then it would be a way different outcome, I think. And now it's Ottomans that gonna be gaining land for free from Austria, and Poland is probably going to be losing most of this. Or maybe Prussia might be just cleaved into, separated from Sweden or something. That's a lot of ways that the peace deal could go for the Easterners that would be really bad for them. Especially since Poland did a lot of snaking. Westphalia could easily just cut them off somewhere in here, go for Bohemia, because I assume Ottomans won't be able to go that far north. And then being dependent on Ottomans giving you access would be pretty annoying. But that's taking a hell of a lot of time. Well, hopefully it's just that... Well, Thunder didn't actually pick his nation, so that's a bit worrisome. Hopefully it will work out somehow. Anyways, I'll be right back in about 10 minutes, since it's break anyway. And I'm back. Let's see. Looks like they've been playing for a few days, but looks like Sweden and Lithuania managed to retake Lunenburg, which is huge because now they're actually able to reconnect their forces. Yeah, they actually managed to push back because the Prussian troops did a bit of a diversion, it seems, and then the Swedes had enough time to get in. Sweden is really committing right now. Like, they're going, what, twice over their force limit? Yep, exactly. But they have all mercs. Like, they're committing just all of it, all they have. Meanwhile, Westphalia has a fair bit. Oh damn, is France really going with all mercs? Yeah, they're going more than double the... Yeah, their people are going all in. Burgenland is just half-assing it, but I guess they have not much to gain from this one. Yes, people are going at this war. They have twice the numbers. I mean, France alone has about the numbers of Sweden and Prussia. Westphalia has almost the same amount of troops as France. Wait. Westphalia has a bigger force limit than France. Is it because they finished... Yeah. France is about to get their troops much cheaper once they'll finish quantity. Though waiting for the next mill idea might be tempting. It's still 10 years off, to be honest. That's not that much. Oh, France is offering separate peace to Prussia. Is it stop it? Might be. Yep. France is trying to stop get Prussia out of this war, which will cut off a direct line between Sweden and Poland. I mean, they will be able to travel those few provinces, but France and the rest of the Western Allies will be able to put themselves between those two. Just start going into Poland. And the stability is starting to go down. They have a lot of admin banks. Prussia is not going not going out of this war anytime soon. Meanwhile, it looks like Poland is doing a little bit of recruitment. Yeah, they just have a few more months till they will be able to participate in fighting. Yeah, during those few months though, Prussia is getting stampeded out. So this is kinda tough. And I mean, also most of Prussia is actually being occupied. They might potentially go bankrupt as well. Here goes another battle over Berlin, and this time it's the Prussians who have a -1. Usually they were barely winning with a -2 in their advantage, but now it's the other way around. Lithuania is actually helping. They're taking down the 1k stack of Westphalian troops. They might even stack with them because Westphalian morale is so high. Yep. They actually killed them to the last man. But that also means that Lithuania is not really helping in the main battle. Also at the same time, Poland is sitting just on the border, but they are just, I think, one more month away from finishing the bankruptcy. And France is actually going to try and cut off the reinforcements. They have still 150k in the reserve. And Polish 24k might actually get really wrecked. Actually, if Westphalia and France really push, they might go for Poznan. Yeah, Poland is out of bankruptcy right now. Just on the day they joined this battle, but yeah, this one is lost anyway. It is a -2, but the numbers advantage for France and Westphalia is just too huge. And France now has almost 6 morale as well. She's actually... Poland has fairly low morale. I mean, this probably partially because of stuff like prestige and power projection is kind of low after bankruptcy. Oh, the French army tradition really skyrocketed during this war. Westphalia reached 100. Hot damn. Yeah, probably them getting finally some decent leaders is really helping them win some battles. And also Sweden going back in a completely different direction than the rest of his allies is not really beneficent to the war effort, I'd say. Poland going all the way to the east. Only Prussia really hanging out around in the area, but they have 2 more years. And they are... I mean, they could step up, but maybe they don't even want to. Because they will have to go through a bankruptcy anyway. Yeah, they have 10k debt. Let's see how this 4k for Westphalia, nothing for Burgundy, 12,000 for France, but they're still not even halfway to the bankruptcy. And Poland unconditionals in the end. And those few occupations by AIs means that... Oh wait. What did Ottomans take from? Did they just take those 4 provinces? Really? That's really a minimalistic piece. I would expect them to at least connect to their ally in Tuscany. But doesn't seem to be the case. Very surprising, to be honest. And let's see what France now does. I mean, for sure they want to take this province at least, and probably the mountain fort, because to be honest, they have a mountain fort here anyway. They might just take this one. Leaves this province pretty much cut off from anything useful anyway for Poland. They could snake into it from the other end, but Austria actually left the game, which I mean, fair enough at this point. But I'm surprised. Ottomans are really not doing that much. Let's see, that was they went into the other trade node. I'm really not getting this stuff. Okay, so France took both of those provinces, and then a whole bunch of provinces went to Westphalia as well. Yeah, a bunch of provinces from Poland and a bunch of provinces from... Oh, including the Czech gold mine. So the Eastern Alliance in one quick war lost... I mean, quick, so like 6 years. So, about the typical time for a war. Lost both of their gold mines. To be fair, they had one for a couple of months before it started being occupied. But yeah, it's gonna be a pretty big chunk of their economy lost. Poland still has 1 gold mine, and that's actually it. The Polish economy is actually not that strong, I'd say. It's about as strong as Prussia, which means it's not strong at all. Only Sweden is doing fairly decently out of this Eastern Bloc when it comes to economy. They're actually, oh wow! In the meantime, Ottomans doubled their income this session. They had like 120, now have 244. Hot damn! Castile is starting to break into 100. Aragon is still doing not too hot. 50 income. Still better than Poland somehow. Tuscany is doing pretty nice with 90 income. I know it's with 80, which is respectable, but compared to Ottomans, that's not good enough. Oh, and QQ is giving up Iraq to Ayyubids, after all. So it is a thing that's happening, surprisingly enough. Ethiopia is... well, it's basically 50 because they get a bunch of it from subsidies from Rosvi. Apparently there's a war between Mali... probably Defender of Faith again. Oh, so it was about Ayubids. I mean, they probably needed to court them for the formation. Well, they were supposed to give those up anyways, but... So I wonder if they're gonna give up the rest of Iraq, or is it just gonna be this, just this for the while? Looks like Korea got split finally. More Japan falling to Fujian. Yeah, a lot of AI is dying. Yunnan got it this session. And the empty gold mine went to Fujian, and this is a well-deved province as well. A good boost to Fujian's economy. Over 100. Indians, to be honest, for a hackboxing trio are not doing that hot. Not as hot as I would expect them. They're not really skyrocketing ahead of anyone. Like, the biggest income of Punjab is about the same as Fujian. Force limit, similar as well. Yeah. And Bengal and Vijay are way weaker than Punjab too, so... Malaya as well, not really getting that much ahead of everyone when it comes to income or anything really. Well, I guess when it comes to Navy, they're probably way ahead of everyone. 50 galleys for heavies. Ottomans have a lot of galleys, but I don't think they're that much compared to the Malayan ones. Though they are superior to the Aragonese. Yep, by far. By far, they basically double their income. Probably a lot of buildings just finished this session. Yep, a lot of manufactories. A lot of workshops, yep. Yeah, that's true. Bengal is in a good position to expand, like pretty much the only one left in Asia who has... I guess Fujian has a bit of land in eastern Japan still. But I think the western is the better part anyways. Oirat is finishing Manchu. Oh, how nice of AI to... It's a vassal of Gansu. Gansu AI just managed to sneak in some expansion. Yeah, in the mod at the soldier house, was that how the... Soldiers' households are not as good because the bonus from grain is, I think, removed even. They're not that worth. Hello.
What are you doing?
Yeah, I was watching the war that was going on in Europe, and now I'm just checking out nations. Ottomans are... Oh, we have Persia, by the way.
Yeah, finally. Ethiopia is cancelled to play.
Yeah, what religion are you? Coptic.
Coptic.
I mean, you're not doing too bad overall. Just probably colonialism would be nice.
I mean, I'm role-playing as an Ethiopian. My economy is shit.
It's not too bad. Like, Poland actually has worse economy than you. And I
Yeah,
mean,
but...
they didn't really fight in the war, so... It's not really Merc meta, Protoboy, because it's just that the unlimited manpower from vanilla is not really here. Mercs are not really that useful after 1600s. Even now, they're just not as good as manpower troops, especially since they're very annoying to use. Yeah, as you can see, Ottomans are drilling all over the place.
They allied Bengal. Huh.
Ottomans allied.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Bengal is allied to all of the other Indians anyways, so...
Yeah, there's an Indian hotbox. No hotbox, they're just allied to each other.
Oh, wait. What's going on? Persian conquest of Bast against Punjab. And Bengal joins this war.
Wait, I'm gonna go back in the other server.
It has to be a fake war, right? Persia alone versus all Indians?
It's a fake war.
Yeah, it has to be. What changed?
Don't know.
It's 7 years, so not that much. Looks like one province went to Persia, I think. Yeah, Herat. Maybe they needed formation or something?
Also, you can bet your ass that Flemish is very unhappy about what VJ did.
With what?
Almost.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he just showed up and... I mean, it's not really defensible.
No. It's gonna lose it if there's a war, but still.
Yeah, the colors are so similar now between the two, so... Is Sebastian Flemish right now, or is that the sub?
That's the sub.
So, who's...
So both are being played by subs. Ayubits and
Did they switch at some point, or what was that hot join?
No. When Persia crashed, Ayubits also lost internet, so they...
Okay, so that was what happened. I was being confused.
Yeah, no.
So basically, like, Ayubits only needs naval control over the sea and Persia not giving land access, and they're gonna be good to go. And on paper, at least, they do have a lot more galleys. VJ has 7 heavies, but I think galleys should win this one. Depends probably on ideas a bit. Both have quality and that's it, so I think Ayubis, if they wanted... The question is, do you really want to go for anything in here? Like... It's not like it's really valuable land or anything. And now Tuscany is going for their share of Austrian lands. So it's going to be... Oh, maybe Ottomans stopped because Tuscany will be able to gain provinces they need to form Italy. Well, no, they already almost have them. They only need Rome. Which is allied to France Castile. So that's... I mean, you can try that.
They did it to prevent the formation of Italy, probably.
Yeah. I love that Tuscany is building a lot of forts in Italy.
Let me give you an idea for the motto. Well, you're not on the team anymore, but still, get a formula for Ethiopia.
I mean, they do get ideas in the mod. They don't have them in vanilla game, by the way.
The ideas are kind of shit, to be honest.
The missions. The
missions are okay, but the ideas are really shit.
Let's see. Yeah, they are pretty bad overall.
Yeah, I mean, you get yearly prestige, new air. The fort defense is okay.
I mean, prestige is not too bad as well.
Yeah, the missionaries are okay too.
Yeah, but there's no real hard hitters.
No,
like the best thing they have is infantry combat ability, which is not that great. Let me keep an eye on the AI wars.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back to Africa.
Okay, coming back to Africa. We lost someone. It looks like we lost QQ again. So Persia dropped. Oh, sorry, yeah, Persia, not QQ. And Bengal is actually getting close to finish Indochina, at least cut it off so no one else can eat anything from them. Yeah, basically just Ayutthaya in here, and then just a few pockets of, to be honest, not too bad provinces. Yeah, 10. Silk. Copper is worth 4.5 now, which is really good. David is a vassal of Bengal. Actually, how much is... Oh! Bengal actually has 6 Diplo relations, so he's not losing that much as I was thinking. 3 vassals and 3 allies. Is he getting them... Where is he getting those relations from? Strong duchies. What's that modifier? Maybe one of the Indian things? Apparently it's the estate. Oh yeah, strong duchies. Actually, I mean, he doesn't really need that many vassals. Probably he would be okay with either Sukhothai or Khmer. And having Ottoman's allies is... Huh. Interesting choice. That was actually a very quick restart by the Persian player. Well... That's not looking good. He might have crashed again. Oh wait, that's really weird. That doesn't really happen that often that the speed changes. Maybe his internet just had a hiccup or something. Oh, okay, he's back. Yeah, I don't think the alliance with Ottomans is really necessary for Bengal, so he could do without that estate privilege, but I suppose using it is fair enough. Also, he has Bastler, which... Especially at this point of the game. I mean, maybe this one is an old vassal. I think at this point of the game it's... Basically, you got all, yeah, Persia is not really staying in sync. You don't really need more admin. Ah, for a school. Yeah, they have the dev cost, but ideally you'd want to have... Yeah, Mamluks have some pet vassals that they can use for the Maliki dev school. So I guess it's what they want from Bengal as well. Yeah, let's see if are they improving. Yeah, they're improving relations, so it's for the school most likely. It is a pretty good school, minus 10 dev cost. For pretty much free. Did Prussia go bankrupt? No. I mean, they have 25 more loans, so they're not in that bad of a situation, but 10k for them is a lot of money. Especially since the Eastern Bloc, except for Sweden, who has a lot of production and trade. Where are they getting the trade, by the way? From Lübeck? Oh, they collect from both Lübeck. Oh, they collect from Lübeck and Novgorod. And I guess because it's their main trading port, they collect from Baltics as well. So they just collect everywhere. I suppose, fair enough. Looks like we're in a bit of a lull now between big wars and so on. Iraq getting more hordes. Surprised there are even any left. Iraq really expanded quite a bit just this session. Oh, Yaren is a vassal of Iraq, makes sense. Gansu is really in a bad position now between Giant Oirat and Giant Jujian. They might be able to take some land from Yunnan. And I mean, if Oirat helps them kill Jujian, it's gonna be pretty nice as well. And Jujian has no allies. Still, despite having basically a free session of Diplo, they're not really making any deals with the Indians or anyone else. Mali is... I mean, Mali was at the beginning of the session, I was thinking that Mali is pretty much dead, but they're actually hanging on. I guess their lucky Britain is not really gunning for them. And yeah, they're still on the exploration. Heavily behind on tech and ideas. I mean, at least they're on time with mill tech, which is something, but they don't have any idea groups for mill. Though, to be fair, Great Britain only is now finishing quantity, so it's not like their military is a powerhouse, but at least they're getting 5% discipline from their national ideas. I mean, if Congo helped Mali, then maybe they would be able to defend themselves. But most of the Africans are really going for like expansion, economic greedy place when it comes to their ideas. Only Ethiopia is going with the quality quantity. Did Thunder jump on... Oh yeah, he did jump on Cuba in the end. And we have British Mexico as well. Norway expanding all over the place. And they have most of the coast on lockdown by now. Congo did form their own colonial nation in Brazil as well. And they're taking over the Cape. Didn't Rosby have colonists? Huh? I guess not then. This is a fairly slow war, I guess. Yeah, Bengal is not really using their army. And Persia is trying to hot train again. I really don't think they're gonna have that much success with that. But, I mean, at least they're loading in fast, so that's not too much time lost for everyone. Actually, once Persia is finished loading, I'm gonna check what's the great power list at the moment. So we have Ottomans at the undisputed first spot, not really surprising. Everyone has the colonialism, so it's not like there's any technology cost affecting the dev. Bengal is second, Punjab third, then Malaya, Jujian, Ayubids, France. So it's only France out of Europeans if you don't count Ottomans in the top 8. And how much debt does Castile, for example? 700, 500, 500. And Westphalia has a lot of debt. Yeah, Poland is actually tiny. I thought that Poland had pretty decent debt, but they're smaller than Aragon. Sweden has decent size, but their best thing about them is their income. Castile actually is crossing into 100 100 income as well. So they're growing into a decent power on their own. Yeah, Poland is barely bigger than Lithuania. And with all the vassals that Lithuania is creating in Muscovy, then Lithuania might be actually bigger with those vassals. Almost 100 in Tver, 40 in Ryazan, 4 in Astrakhan. That's tiny. Though Poland also has... oh wait. Ah! Well, that's interesting. Looks like a... mission, maybe? Let's see. Yeah, I don't see anything in the missions about this one province, so... I mean, luckily Lithuania is not actually fighting a full-out war with Ottomans, because that would be a massacre. Ottomans, I think, is making more money than the entire Eastern Bloc combined. And then some. Okay, Austria is basically fully occupied by Tuscany, and at the same time Westphalia is starting to walk on forts to speed up their conquest of Austria and Bohemia, which might mean cutting off Poland from their few provinces in HRE. What's interesting to me is looks like no, they didn't really cooperate, because Westphalia didn't know this province is going to Tuscany, because Westphalia is no longer allied to Tuscany. Tuscany is only now allied to the Ottomans. So like Westphalia is now firmly in the Western Bloc. Iberia didn't really help in the war versus Poland, but then again, the help wasn't really necessary. Tuscany is with Ottomans, and then it's Poland, Lithuania, Prussia, and Sweden in the east. Those are the three powerhouses of Europe currently. The most players being in the western lines, which might be their weakness as well. The Iberian War versus the Africans basically kind of died down. Looks like they had some kind of deal with the Ayyubids, because they had the first war on Morocco and they didn't really use this opportunity to cut the Iberians off as much as possible, and I think they certainly could have done this. And now Castile just comes in and cuts off Ayyubids. And well, they also went for the gold mine, which is probably what was one of the most prioritized targets. And now Lithuania is going for the Great Horde, which I think is just an OPM that may be formed from some separatists. And we lost Persia again. No, we lost Ayubids this time. What the hell? Those two guys don't really have the most stable internet, unfortunately. Doesn't look like Tuscany made it too easy for Westphalia to take the forts by mothballing them in the end. Still, I mean, I think Austria might be... They're at least no longer bankrupt, but they're just really, really weak anyway, so... Yeah. Just a matter of finishing the sieges and occupations. Actually, almost all forts are gone anyways. Just the one on the capital remaining. Who's playing Westphalia? Clasher 13, who is a fairly okay player, I think. And now Bohemia is on an adventure, I suppose, in the Pomerania. I think France and the rest of them are not really going to be pushing for any more wars for the time being. France is, I think, going for a bankruptcy build? Maybe? Because they have almost full loans and they for sure weren't in that bad of a state. Westphalia is doing very well. Those guys are very quickly restarting their PCs, or at least U4. Now loading not that fast, but it's not too bad. We have about an hour left till the end of the session, so we'll see if... Actually, we have blue flames between Oirat and Jujian, but we'll see if this actually means anything. They are still being separated by Gansu, which is protected, so we'll see what's that about. Might be another kind of incident war caused by Defender of Faith or something. Though it probably isn't on purpose fake war, because those two are enemies, at least were last session, from what I've heard. And God knows which Ayubid's Hodgin finished. Oh, what? Andrex, I think he's joining on some colonial nation. So did maybe Jijian not realize that Manchu... Wait. Manchu is not a vassal of Oirat. This might be another case of Defender of Faith or something, because... Yeah, Jujian doesn't really seem prepared for a war with Oirat, and he started this war, so it seems that he was pretty confident that pretty confident that it's not that big of a deal. Like, all of his army is overseas. Malayan Australia, of all the colonial nations. Huh. I was thinking either Congo or Norway, but... yeah, Oirat is in this as well. Pretty sure it's Defender of Faith. Yep. Wait. Yeah, they're Tengri, and Oirat is Tengri as well. Kind of weird that this... oh, because it's the syncretic faith, so this counts as the same as their main one. Oirat doesn't even really have troops on this side of Asia because he was fighting some AIs next to Russia. 1k separatists. So yeah, looks like Jujian is just gonna take this pretty darn good Korean province. Both sides have good provinces for defense in Korea. Basically a north-south split happening a bit more north than usual. I think it would be about here, maybe even a bit more south. This is Seoul, I think. Burgundy is at fight with some HRE miners, I think. Yeah, he is actually pushing quite heavily in here. And at this point you're not really afraid of any AA coalitions, so you could just possibly grab everything in here. Ottomans are finishing Hungary. Westphalia is occupying this. They actually even managed to get some troops through here. I wonder who gave them access. Probably not. Ah, because Austria's emperor, they get automatic access through Tuscany. That's pretty nice for Westphalia. Just what they needed. They're doing really well on mana generation as well. What's their... a 165, which at this point of the game is pretty much as good as you could possibly wish for. Wonder what kind of peace they go for. I think they want to take Prague at least because it's a really good province. Maybe Salzburg. They can't reach even there. Ah, they can. Salzburg is a good province for a fort. Not that it would be useful with in this current setup, but eventually it would be pretty nice and useful against Tuscany at least. Who... wait. Oh yeah, he's scoring first, and then he will probably get some modern forts, because that forest fort is not as good. Lithuania is going for another round against Muscovy. I mean, to be fair, the Lithuanian military is really tiny. But Muscovy has about the same size, and at least the vassals are doing some work. Unless they're... oh, they're not loyal. I guess they're at least delaying the occupations of Lithuania proper. Yeah, Lithuania is really in a rough shape. What's their autonomy? Average of 20%. That's not too bad. Why is their economy so terrible? Their trade is really trash. Oh, they barely have any control over Kiev. Like, actually, yeah, the trade is just terrible. They have less than half of Kiev and then no control over any other trade node, so there's really nothing they can try to do and gather. Well, Lithuania always is rather poor nation overall. What is Westphalia waiting for? They could just... They're sitting with their army in here eating attrition. In here as well. Maybe they're waiting for Burgundy to finish their war, but I'm not really sure. Wait. Oh, Westphalia is back to being allied to Tuscany. Okay. So I'm still confused where Westphalia lies between Tuscany and France. Maybe France is going to be letting Aragon and Castile fend for themselves against the Ottomans, and they're gonna finish the focus on eating as much as possible from the Eastern Alliance. But then again, the most natural avenue of expansion for France currently, unless they start going for the allies of Burgundy or Aragon or any other, is for Tuscany. Rosby joined because of the Defender of Faith, I assume. There's a lot of Ibadis in the area, and Rosby is Ibadi as well. Ethiopia is starting to expand in Sahel Africa, so in the end it might be Mali who ends up with one of the smaller chunks, with Britain coming from the coast, Ayyubids coming from the north, and Ethiopia coming from the east. I mean, pretty soon Castile might be knocking as well. Just 3 more years, and they will certainly have enough to make their way to Sahel if they really want to. At least the trade is going the correct direction for them. Sweden is going for someone. Oh yeah, they're going for their own war against Muscovy. And they have a lot of death eventually available to them, though Oirat is starting to knock on their doors from the east. Ottomans as well. How much death is left in Muscovy? So 300 in Muscovy proper, then 12, 23, 100 overall, and like 140 in vassals, which is a fair bit. It's about as much as Poland has right now. But all of it is going to go to either Sweden, who is already strong enough, or Lithuania, who, I mean, to be fair, Lithuania probably needs help the most, but it maybe would be more efficient if Poland would be able to expand somehow. But now Hungary is a vassal, and Hungary has a lot of cores on Poland. and Austria. So this might be a target being painted on the Polish back. Why is Westphalia not piecing out? What's going on? Already sending condos to Westphalia? Already pieced out Georgian, so they're just Gucci. Already is no longer allied to Gansu. Could be that the Gansu AI broke the alliance. Hard to say. Georgian is going for round 2 on Yunnan. Looks like we have a Australian colonial nation expanding. They have some pretty good dev provinces in here. For the time being, they are cooperating with their colonial overlord, as seems to do Cuba. Britain is also aggressively expanding into the Mexican area. Speed 5, yeah, good luck. Oh yeah, it looks like Norway is giving away provinces to Sweden, I think. Yeah, there's no core. Pretty sure it was. Yep, that was sold just a year ago. So it looks like Norway is slowly selling their provinces to Sweden. Which, I mean, is not that much, but it's still something. Probably they must have stopped because Sweden entered a war and you cannot trade provinces while during a war. What's going on here? I love that Tuscany is building forts just everywhere in northern Italy. Actually everywhere in Italy, period. Really good, I think. Meanwhile, France is basically defenseless. They have basically a good front line. Then they have a line, at least, but not on perfect provinces. Yeah, this mountain is just sitting empty. And their front with Burgundy, I guess if they assume that Burgundy is just going to be their shield, it's okay, but even then it's not perfect. No, there's almost 40k of Burgundians stuck in here. Looks like they are finished war with the Europeans, but wait. Yeah, looks like they took everything they could have. Or I guess not. But I assume they have some kind of deal with Westphalia. They should have a deal with Westphalia. Okay, they finally finished occupations of Austria, so at this point they're still not at 100%. Ah, because there's one more province in here. Looks like... Oh, Sweden and Lithuania actually went to this war together. So I assume that was because Lithuania was not really dealing that well with Muscovite AI. They're actually out of manpower as well. Lithuania is having a tough life right now. They eventually should become pretty strong, but I'm not even sure why they are so weak. Like, I mean, a lot of oh, yeah, this might be a fake war, but selling. Oh yeah, they remove rivals. Fair enough. Really nothing. I don't see any troop movements that would indicate anyone is preparing for a war anywhere. Except I guess there's 100k Ayubi troops in Persia. But that might be just for rebel clearing, to be honest. Would be a weird setup for rebel clearing, but I mean, the rebels are not coming anytime soon. Who would they be worried against? I mean, for fighting against the Indians, that's quite far away, to be honest. Fujian expanding more into Yunnan. Oh, Takeda and Amaga are actually independent daimyos. Oh yeah, didn't Japan have like three great? Yeah, they have three great wonders just in this tiny area. At least Kyoto doesn't have one. Ah, the AI is brain dead. That's quite annoying for Westphalia, and explains why they can't peace out. So sometimes what happens, the game, once the player leaves, sometimes it could be also done by host. So maybe Shavir did this by accident because he didn't realize Austria is not coming back. He set AI on brain dead, which means that basically there's no AI on the nation. Which is good in certain situations because it ensures that the nation doesn't do anything stupid. It just sits there for a while. But it can lead to situations where someone fights a war and then the AI just doesn't do anything. Oh, that's. Oh my god. It's military really not showing up from their best side. Luckily, Ottomans are there to help them. Looks like the majority of land is going to go to Sweden in this war. For some reason, they're not even trying to occupy Rostov, which is actual provinces of Muscovy. Really not that much happening in this second half. Oh, it would be really good for Razvi to keep Mutapa as their little vassal so they can sack the school out of them. In 8 years, the peace between Poland and France is gonna end. There's been no truces between Tuscany and the West for a while. Yeah, there's not even really that much AI expansion, to be honest. Like, Sweden took what? A few provinces. Really not that much, to be honest. What, like 3? Ah, a bit more. A fair amount. I actually wonder what provinces are required to form Russia. Sweden controls some of them, so maybe eventually Lithuania could trade for them, because that would be, I think, a good improvement for Lithuania if they formed Russia. Okay, it's gonna be a bit of a break. Because Quadex needs to leave, then Hot joined back, so we can put AI back on Austria. I'm actually gonna also be right back. So it was actually quicker than expected. But we're paused again. And why are we paused? Critics is in, so we should be able to just... Why are we paused? That's when I would really want to be able to write anything in the chat. I mean, Westphalia didn't even send the diplomat to... Oh. Well, that's interesting. I guess at this point you do get the... When did you get the bonus for spies? Not yet, I suppose. No, he has studied technology. I guess that they just maybe are on the same level. No, Sweden's actually ahead in quite a few. Yeah, -1%. -1%. Oh, he actually took exactly what I was thinking he will. Yeah, actually even a bit more because he got a bit more war score. Which also does the nice thing of... I mean, it's not really cutting Poland off from anything because they already have cores in here. It's just that they probably won't be able to move too many troops in here. They already have 9k though. Is it mercs? No, that's manpower troops. Risky move because they may end up just being stack wiped with no problem. Yeah, and he can only go really for Bavaria, which has some annoying vassals because he would need to get access through other players to get to them. But then if he went for Bavaria, that would be denying provinces to the western lines, which might be worth the trouble, not sure. Poland, even coming out of the bankruptcy, is not really a powerhouse I was thinking it is. I mean, 100 force limit is respectable, but still, like, only maybe even Sweden is weaker than Westphalia at this point. They're about even, but France is stronger than Westphalia. So that makes... Yeah, they must have gone for the... Because last time I checked during the war, they had like 12,000 ducats in debt, and now they're at 32,000. They're not doing something dumb like running mercs in peacetime for no reason. Maybe let's just check. When were the... Yeah. They might be going into a bankruptcy about January, to be honest. Actually in November. Yeah, that's... I think they went for a bankruptcy build. And it's about to be 5 years. Which would mean that for the Eastern Alliance to use the French bankruptcy this time would require a truce break. Though Tuscany could just go for it. I think France is gonna go bankrupt in a few months. Oh, Lithuania losing some troops to Cossack rebels. Lithuania is really struggling. And I think at this point they should just recruit some mercs at least. Because they just don't have any manpower. Like, even just occupying this land is difficult for them. There's barely any enemy troops. They will be able to force their way and take. I mean, actually, they're just still not close enough. Some decent provinces, though. When I click events, it doesn't really do anything. And Persia is no longer in sync again. British Mexico is ever growing, and I mean, I was thinking that Norway was gonna do some, like, play as a colonial nation or something. Not really sure what the plan was, but they're not really going too hard for it. And did Persia drop? No. Oh, Castile is colonizing, probably from their idea. Yeah, they only have their colonists from their national ideas. Still something to do. Might as well. And Castile is going for round 2 on Morocco. I wonder, are they going to only take provinces to the west of their current lands? And let Ayyubids take the eastern part, or are they just going to try and go for everything? Or are they going to try and snake into Sahel? Then work with their... Might have a rehost situation on hands. Rehosts. It's been a while. Here, let's save just in case. Switch. Pretty quick rehost. We're doing tests, but there's no issues with numbers bug. Damn. There's really not much happening in this second half, and I assume at this point there's probably not going to be anything going on. Fujian finishing rest of Japan. Well, Takeda is actually taking on the Ashikaga. Oh, and Saw still exists. A gold mine with uneven depth. Ban Shavir. More expansion happening in Australia with really nothing that could possibly stop it. Oh, and Tuscany found the loophole and attacked Milan, who was allied to Papal States, which will allow them to take Rome, which will allow them later on to form the Italian nation, which actually might be... Yeah. This might be pretty soon, actually. Right after this war finished and they get the... What? We start with what? Bengal? Oh, and Aragon formed Sicily? Or two Sicilies? What's the name of this tag? Wait. Oh, I think Kimi was supposed to be playing them and he's not here. So I think it might have been the AI that formed whatever this is. Oh, almost forgot. Hap overlay. Almost there. Yeah, there's this really awkward moment where everyone is loaded in, but the game just doesn't let you to start. Let's see, is there any news on Kimi? Aragon is protected, so yeah, Kimi is gone for the time being, but there's not going to be any sneaky attacks by Tuscany. And Aragon might be brought back in the save edits from this current tag. It's actually taking a while. I can't even change music in this menu. God damn it. It might be. Now it's gonna get tricky. It's possible it's impossible to start at this point. We might be ending the session early, which might be for the best for me, because at this point it would be just comparing nations, how they're doing and so on. Yeah, it looks like early end. And we might even revert to before Aragon reformed into whatever they are. Oh! Yeah, two Sicilies. Actually, I wonder what technology cost. Okay. Yeah, it's basically mixed naval ideas with... I mean, there's some decent stuff, like goods produced, 20% manpower, 10% morale. Technology cost is nothing to sniff at. Navy tradition and morale of navies, very good modifiers for naval nation. But going both naval and land is... I mean, you're gonna get wrecked by a naval nation and or a land nation either way. Like, at best what you can hope for is, as a naval nation, have a decent force for reinforcements. I don't really think going both is a valid strategy. So that's Milan, Papal States and Bavaria, which is already being sieged by Trent, which is a vassal of Tuscany. Right, they have access. Oh, they just have access for France. Nice. Maybe they managed to solve their differences through diplomacy. Moldavia is still a march of Poland, which is, I think, kind of unfortunate because those are very good provinces. Like 2 farmlands, 2 grasslands, which is great for deving. Decent trade goods on most of those. It would cost, I think, stability to remove the march status, but I think it would be worth it. Like, Poland needs whatever they can get. And currently they actually have a lot of vassals. Oh yeah, they actually have a vassal over here, so they could try and do some expansion into the remains of the HRE. Just as a way to deny those provinces to the Westerners. So we're missing Bengal and 2 Sicilies for Aragon for the time being. I wonder what Castile is actually going to take in this piece. They're almost finished. Not really doing much movement with their troops currently. Oirat is going for yet another round versus Muscovy. And neither Sweden nor Lithuania cut him off in any way. So he actually will have access to a lot of provinces without an issue. I wonder if they have some kind of deal between each other, to be honest. They are not allied to each other at all. So yeah, Oirat might be actually taking a lot of the benefits from Muscovy dying, and Oirat is huge. Yeah, they're in the 8th place on the Great Power list, but they're just behind Vijay and France. After this war they will easily jump into 6th spot. Yeah, the Indians are doing pretty damn good on dev. Oh, Punjab now is gaining some income. Vijay as well. Now, Castile is actually starting to maybe even overtake France, to be honest. Which is quite impressive. Though France, from what it looks like, they got the bankruptcy build. Wait, did they go bankrupt? Not yet. Yeah, a lot of their buildings finished just about 5 years ago. And Ayyubids are giving back Iraq. Okay. And Rome is part of Tuscany now. So once they finish coring, they will be able to form Italy. Yep, just about a year. I'm very surprised France is... Yeah, 37. It was 7 years ago at this point. And they still have 33,000 in debt, almost 34. Fighting a war would be very difficult for them currently. I mean, not much of... Like, Cuba became a player colonial nation. Britain is expanding aggressively into Mexico, which, I mean, versus AIs with... actually, wait, their tech is not as bad as I would expect them to be. But still, they're just probably mowing them down. There's Congo with their colonial nation. Castile is making an appearance. Oh, that's a good trade good on this province. And I was thinking that Norway was supposed to be... Oh yeah, they're selling more land to Sweden slowly. Let's see, when did this go? About a year ago. 3 years ago. I think Norway had some kind of plan of exiling in some way, like playing as a colonial nation or something. I'm not sure what their plan is. It's going very slowly their way. Oh, Bremen used to be Prussian and now it's Burgundy. Who's now Lotharingia? Damn, did he actually take their... No, he's giving Burgundian ideas, which is fair. But it's been a while since we had... as in, I don't think we had one ever. Nice! What's their... I mean, they're still Burgundian. Oh, and they also have Normandy? They got Normandy from... Yeah, Great Britain sold them Normandy. I mean, that's nice. But a bit surprising. Now those two are sharing the trade in the channel. It's not that much money yet. England is actually making below 100 ducats, which is quite poor for England, to be honest. But I assume pretty soon a lot of money is going to be coming their way from the New World. They maybe could use a bit more troops, to be honest, in there. Yeah, just 17k is, I mean, enough to win battles, but there's a lot of annoying micro to do. And they're keeping 21k in England. Yeah, really nothing going on right now in the world. Halfway there to becoming Italy. Oh, they have some religious problems. They're Protestant. Did they just switch or what? I think they just relatively recently switched. Oh, they're eating the submission to the Emperor. That's annoying. Yeah, I think they converted like 2 years ago. Because I think that religious zeal bonus is for 10 years, right? More or less. They could take Milan now. Not sure what they're waiting for. And Bavaria at least is not printed, and Milan shouldn't be either because two Sicilies are going for Morocco. I think. Oh, so okay, so Castile did go for Sahel, so now they will be able to expand into Machina and possibly Mali. And they did release Algiers, which means they are not really letting Ayyubids take all the rest of this land. And the Two Sicilies AI is going right here. Bavaria is pieced out, so it's just Milan time. Portugal. Congo is at war with Portugal. Oh. What kind of... Waida? And they're getting Portuguese missionaries. Oh, Portugal colonized the place on the coast. Mali actually has a coast, which is nice because they have colonial ideas and they were totally unable to use them in any way. And they're still not using their colonies even to promote settlement growth. Which, I mean, I think it's free, right? And it can be a bit of death. But with Castile coming, it might be time for Mali. Don't have big hopes for them. Do they have Ethiopia, Congo, and Rosvi? Which is not bad. That's at least some allies. But the problem is they are pretty far away. Ethiopia at least is not too much, but ideally they would be allied to Ayyubids. Oh, is Milan afraid of a coalition or something? I mean, all the nations actually hate them anyways. Yeah. So it shouldn't matter. And maybe they are afraid of the getting more wrong religion promises. Yeah, I think that's it. They want to get into 50%, which they probably won't, to be honest. They have right now, what, 15 months? Maybe they're really quick at using their missionaries. I think it might be useful to claim the Defender of Faith to get another missionary. Would be really useful at this point. Because they'll get 8 from those 35. Unless they have no chance, unless they get the Defender of Faith, and even then they might get their religious turmoil. I mean, because even once they get to 50%, it will still be ticking up, just slower. There is also the conversion by centers of Reformation. How fast is that? Can I check? Decently fast. Parma is 20 dev. I still think it might be impossible to avoid, unfortunately. Great Britain taking all the gold in Mexico. Yeah, the Mexican colonial nation is gonna get pretty huge, to be honest. How much debt do they have already? 100. And if they get all of this, like, Thunder might regret jumping on Cuba so fast. Okay, this just went to Sweden, so Norway is selling more and more land. Still might take quite a while before they finish the transition to the new world. It's probably a fake war, one way. Yeah, War of Wonder. Between Malay and Great Britain. Wonder what's the purpose. Wait, no. Oh, Norway is allied to Malaya? Yeah. Huh. Lithuania and France. Oh. I didn't get to see the peace deal, unfortunately. It's 5 years plus a few months. Rivals, I guess, or something. Hard to say. Yeah. I don't think they're gonna solve their religious problems quite as fast as they would want to. I mean, they're pretty close. They have, what? 8 more months. So that's... Oh, what? Oh, yeah, I guess it's end of the game. GG. So a good first part of the session. What? Are you serious? And nice. Yeah, people are just leaving. I would ideally want to get a save from the end of the game, so... Oh, we also lost France in the meantime? No. France is protected until the end of session while France is in game. That's kind of weird. I guess if they make a save, then Can I? No, I can't make a save. I think I better wait because we might end up without. But yeah, anyways, a pretty good session, I think. The world is being divided. I mean, it's 1550 almost, so not sure if it's about as fast as you would expect, right? I guess make a save now while I still can. We did have a lot less players than usual, so that's expected that there's a fast division going on. We don't have that many powerhouses because we have the Westerners, we have the Easterners, and Westerners did manage to win, but the Eastern Bloc was really at a low point, and they still do keep their quality despite losing quite a bit of land to the West. Ottomans are by far the strongest nation in the world, but they're not, other than Tuscany, and they're not really part of any alliance, at least currently. The Southern Africans are all part of Alliance bloc, but they're all still pretty weak. But maybe eventually their greedy choices when it comes to ideas with not choosing that many military groups might eventually pay off. Then we have Indians who are not doing anything and they're powering up, which might end up being the dominating power in the game eventually. But we do have Jujian, which is might be even the more powerful. Hello, I'm just doing a quick overview, finishing it, and then I'm gonna go because I don't really want to go through every nation. I kinda did it while the game was going on, since there was not much happening.
You can tell me really quick what happened during the session in Europe mainly, because
yeah, there was like after finishing the AI Muscovy, the Eastern Bloc, which is Poland, Lithuania, Prussia, and Sweden, went against Austria.
Yeah.
And Austria played kind of weirdly with at first not doing anything, and then after some time he went all in, like recruited all the mercs and took a few battles. I mean, it was kind of tough for him because his quality compared to Prussia and Sweden was very bad, but he was kind of hanging on. He lost one war and then he declared a no CB on Poland. After a while, he got defeated anyways, of course, but France used this opportunity to go against Poland, and so that was France, current Lotharingia and Westphalia going against Prussia, Sweden, Poland and Lithuania. But the thing was, after the war with Austria, Poland was bankrupt. I guess he was debt accumulated from the Muscovy War.
Yeah, Muscovy, then Austria, yeah.
Yeah. And then eventually the Westerners managed to win. It was tough. They made it as hard on themselves as possible, fighting on -2 forts. But
got exchanged, but one gold mine, I think.
Yeah, gold mine.
Country review.
A lot of forts.
All right.
Yeah, and actually 2 gold mines, because the Poland took one from Austria as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna let people go to you,
yeah,
and I'm gonna go. So GG guys, see ya next week, hopefully.
Yeah.
Guilty.